Okay, well, I've made some progress on this plow truck project. The engine is running. It's running pretty well. I have it, it's running with the Mega Squirt 2 ECU, and that's for fuel. It's running its own spark, and I've been spending some time tuning it, and overall tuning is going pretty well. So it starts up pretty well, it idles nice, the cold enrichment is working just fine. There is still some tuning to go, but overall I'm pretty happy with how it's running. Now this motor is a bit of a dog. It's a pretty worn out 350. It really could use some performance upgrades, and that's something that I probably will do in the future. It does have just a kind of a truck aftermarket cam in it, just a flat tappet. I wouldn't mind upgrading the cam. It could definitely use new heads and exhaust, but it doesn't really need it for what it's going to do. But at some point I will do that just for the fun of it. Now for the plow progress, the mount is on now. So this is the mount that comes with to fit with the plow, and basically it just bolts to the frame. And installation of it was pretty straightforward. Let's see if you can see down there is one big bolt that had to get a hole drilled through the frame, and then that's fastened to the frame. It is also attached to the frame higher up at the top there. And it's a pretty sturdy structure. It will it does decrease the ground clearance a little bit. But, this isn't a dedicated off-road truck. This will be used for, mild off-road, but mostly plowing. And that's about it for now. So things to do now are to finish the install. There's quite a bit of wiring. So it's got this module. These are all the wiring harnesses for connecting it in with the headlights, basically. These are the lights that will go on top. And so that's the next step, is all the wiring, and then it'll be physically attaching the power unit and the plow. So this is what I'm working with for the wiring. And it has, from a first impression, it looks like a pretty comprehensive wiring kit. It has all the wiring harnesses. They actually look to be pretty nicely put together, and it has nice loom, and everything's quite secure. Comes with all the nylon straps, a 200 amp fuse. That's the controller. Harnesses there, dielectric grease, grommets. So it looks like it's actually pretty well put together. Nice quality stuff. So hopefully it goes in nicely as well. The wiring is really pretty straightforward. Basically, the harness connects to, this 200 amp fuse. I'm going to move that over a bit, but that goes to the battery. Of course, it grounds. The main cables that come out, there's two. There's one there and one there. And then there's a control module, which I'm going to mount somewhere over here, because I have more real estate for it there. And then there's the wiring that connects into the headlights, basically. So basically just connects in and then, splices in, really, I guess. And then I think there's about one that'll need to get physically spliced into the marker turn signal lights. And so one of those on each headlight, basically. The control module will get mounted, and then the cables that come out to the actual plow. And then on the other side, this is the wire that's going to run through the firewall into the cabin side for the hand controller. So that's not too bad. The wiring is done. That was pretty easy. So I have the module on the driver's side. There's wiring that crosses over to the battery, the fuse block there. And then there is one wire that runs into the cab. And then coming out the front, I just have the two hanging loose right now. Those will connect into the power pack of the plow. So that was easy. There's only really 3 wires that needed to be spliced in. Everything else was plug and play. And inside the cab here, I mounted the controller just to where the old ashtray was. So there's a little V thing that locks in. So overall, that was pretty easy. Things went together pretty nicely and didn't take too much time. The next step is to connect this Ultra Mount 2 to the frame mount. So obviously I have to take it out of the crate, and I'm going to try to connect it as is. It might need to have the blade attached to it first. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try it like this. We'll see how that goes, and then I want to connect all the lights. And then the blade is outside right now, so then if this all mounts up fine, then I'll take it outside and put the blade on. If not, then I'll put the blade on first and then get this connected. All right, this is starting to make a lot more sense. So I was having troubles getting this rotated, and there's no instructions with this part of the installation. But it's fairly intuitive, I guess. You just have to, well, at least I had to spend a few minutes figuring it out. This, of course, rotates. That's the locking hook. This is the release in order to lock it. What took me a little bit to realize is they had this nut here tight AF, and it was impossible to pivot that. And I wasn't sure if it was because I was missing a pin or a locking mechanism. But no, I just had to back this off about half a turn. And it's still pretty snug. Obviously this is a lock nut, so it can be adjusted later. But loosening that a little bit allowed me to pivot this. And then this part here will actually, well, this will come off. So this comes off. This will mount actually into there. And then the Ultra Mount to, I guess this is kind of like a receiver, and then that will lock in there. So that pin comes out, this piece goes into there, that pin will lock it in, this goes in, and then this locking mechanism will lock onto that pin there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, working pretty good. I'm happy with that, how everything is there. There's only one last thing to do, and that's to put this shoe kit on. So these shoes, they bolt onto the blade about there, and then there's a stack of washers for spacing. So I will be using it on a gravel road. So I think these are probably going to be useful, and I'll get them spaced out. Shoes are on. I put about a 1/4 inch. So all the way across there's about a 1/4 inch gap there. I'll be plowing on mostly gravel. So according to the instructions, that's the appropriate. We'll see. Should it be more or less? If you have any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to start at a 1/4 inch. And that's it. So the plow install is complete. And we don't really have a lot of snow right now yet, but snow will be coming, I'm sure. So we'll see how it goes when the snow flies. So part of the reason that I used this truck for this plow project is because I enjoy working on this truck. It's an easy truck to work on. It's very simple. I enjoy the tuning with the Mega Squirt. I think it's good practice, and it's fun working on that. And just overall, I find it's a fun truck to drive and a fun truck to work on. So that means it isn't really done as a project. There's quite a few things that I like to do. It needs some help on the paint for sure. You know, just a polish would really help it, but it could use a whole new coat. There's a few tiny spots of rust that could get completely mitigated, so I think I'll eliminate the rust and put paint on it at some point. It could use a new engine for sure. The one there is fairly tired. Even just heads and a cam swap would be great for it, so that might be something I'm going to do. I do want to put exhaust on it, and probably a full 2.5 inch dual stainless would be the way to go with that. And the other thing, eventually a lift kit. So I won't go crazy with it, but maybe a 4-inch lift and tires and wheels. So anyway, this will be a truck that I'll just modify, play with as we go. That's about it. See ya.